Hello, we are back for a nice semifinals. We are here together with Geoffrey. This is the Utden Troll Cup 2025 in Leeuwarden, the Netherlands. And we are nearly there. One match to go and we hit the finals. So we have Druid versus Druid. Um, but it's not a mirror match. If we jump into the deck, Geoffrey, we see the first one from Wim, which is actually an air fire druid. We talked about Walt's deck. We'll show it in a moment. That is the classical, if I may say it like this, with water druid. But here we see a air fire druid. What makes it a little bit different? What can we expect here?
Yeah, I think Airfire Druid is still very aggressive. It relies a bit less on uniques than Waterfire Druid does, but it has access to more damage spells. So you get access to Grapple Shot, Whirling Blades, Magic Missile, Chain Lightning. You also get access to easier card draw. So you'll see two Grandmaster Wizard being played here. So generally, you're looking to be almost even more aggressive. And if you run out of gas, you still have an option, Grandmaster.
And I see here the Manticore together with Grapple Shot, but no Grim Gizarms in this list.
Nope, no doubling here. We're just gonna play the minions, grapple shot maybe, but no mask, no Gizarm. So
And whenever I look at this list, I found the card that I always look for, the Phoenix. How annoying will this one be for what?
there's few answers, and if you don't draw them, you're in trouble because that Phoenix is a killer in the mirror match.
Okay, so this is a Waltz deck. We've seen this deck. If you haven't, it's your classical Steam Druid trying to combine many unique cards like Boudica together with Plague of Frogs, together with Ruler of Tool. You have Lions. You have very aggressive cards like the Paris Kobolds together with Jihad, etc. Just try to run you over as quickly as possible. You have one Infiltrate, one Mesmerism, which is always like a near game winning card. So a lot of powerful uniques. So yeah, let's just jump into the game. And my question is always, is there a favorite here? Like, oh, is this equally matched? Or do we just say, because from a natural point, I don't know, from a feeling, I would say that the air fire one is just harder, tougher. It has bigger minions, more annoying minions. Is that true?
It's really hard. I think it's very close to a 50-50. If the Waterfire version hits like the good uniques, it's definitely in its favor, I think. On average, I think Airfire maybe has better access to deal with the mirror match. Things like Grapple Shot usually eats a minion for free. So yeah, really, really hard to say here.
And I also like, yeah, Whirling Blades, Lava Flow. It's such a hugely impactful cards. But of course, they are not free. They are quite expensive. You have to get there. If you draw two of these cards in the beginning, you're already behind because you cannot cast them. And once you're behind, it's often difficult to actually come back, even with these cards. I mean, they are like a well-timed Whirling Blades wins you the game, but you have to have a big enough minion on board, and then you still need a turn to cast it. So it's not easy. So, but we see here Wim being on the draw, which I think is also a very important factor for the matchup.
Yeah, on the play here, right?
On the play, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, I think the grapple shot is a great point. Air has cards that you need a minion on board for them to have any effect on the game, so grapple shot, whirling blade, and that's probably why we didn't want to play a Grim Gizarm or a Mask of Mayhem on top of the grapple shot, because then you get to a critical number of cards that don't do anything if you don't have a minion. And in the mirror match, it's just about controlling the board. Like, you're not going to race for damage. You just want to be, at the end of the turn, the one with the most units on board and try to keep the board that way. And so these cards can be dead cards if you're already losing that game. You're going to see a warhorse bringing everyone, or the druid, but then Tony will take its own step, everyone on location 8. So an aggressive start from Wild, even though he's on the draw. we haven't been able to put or play anything if we're Wim here.
And same is true, right? So Wild decided to move forward with his druid, but like all the violins, and I don't know if the kobolds are in Wim's deck, and I actually don't see them. So that is actually I don't know, because they know each other very well. Perhaps they play tested against each other. So if it's only 3 vile imps, apparently, that is a good enough reason to move forward. Ooh, but another powerhouse already hits the
Yeah.
battlefield.
And it's really rare to see it played on turn 3 because the threshold requirements are intense. It's actually 3 fire. And interestingly, we also saw Koliki in Wim's hand. And because he had played at Desert, the Mirror Realm copies at Desert, he had actually already done 1 damage to the Warhorse. I wonder if playing the Koliki on 13 and killing the Warhorse at the end of the turn would be a cleaner play here. It's hard to say no to Morgana, let's be honest. That might be it.
Yeah, but on the other hand, if he has something to remove a 3-part minion like the Koliki Dragonets, then your Morgana is still a bit safer, right? And also you still have a lot of cards in hand in your own hand. So if you then and you don't have a lot of mana, so the chance that you can empty Morgana's hand quickly is not that realistic. So per se, I try to play Morgana a bit later in the game because I'm just already, as you say, the extra advantage with the Dragonets would already have killed that horse. But of course, that is preference. I don't know what is in Wim's hand. Perhaps he has some clunky cards and he just wants to draw into some fast-hitting cards. That is definitely possible. And of
Yeah, so
course,
the name of...
Morgani can now kill the horse as well for free.
Yeah, it could. You're at risk of losing Morgana a bit too easily. Oh, wow, I'm very surprised by that. So we're racing here. We're saying, you remember when I said like the name of the game is clearing the board? I think the players don't agree. The Monstrous Alliance is going to swing at the Avatar for 4. I was going to say, if you're Wim here, you're ahead on card advantage thanks to that Morgana. So your goal is to stabilize because in the long game you have more resources, you have more cards than your opponent. But maybe the players know something I don't. Maybe he has like a crazy aggressive hand and he thinks he can close the game faster than Wout can. But yeah, we're racing.
And the thing that I don't like, because now I see Morgana still with stealth, so Morgana did not cost anything, he did not attack, so basically he didn't do a turn for nothing. So
Yeah.
then the Dragonets definitely would have been potentially a better play. Again, not knowing, of course, what Wim has in hand.
Yeah. And look, the bluff works. Wim was like, look, I'll race you, mate. Whatever, I'll race you. And Wout is like, okay, if you're doing that, maybe I need to be the one clearing the board. He's going to suicide his warhorse into the monstrous lion. And then the kobold is going to finish the lion at the end of the turn. So one of the player wants to race. The other is like, okay, I'll clean the board. I'll be the responsible one here.
But of course, if you know that your opponent has stuff like Whirling Blades in hand and grapple shots, that Mountain Giant is not, it's just not 4 damage, it potentially wipes your whole board, kills everything, and
Yeah.
then still does 4 damage. So I do understand that Wild says, okay, I should slow down a little bit.
But crucially, we're on 4 firesides here if you're Wim.
Correct.
So we have no access to air, and maybe this is why Morgana is still stealthed. There's a chance her 3 cards is just 3 air cards, and we can't play any of them.
Could be.
So Whirling Blade on turn 5 is not an option here, because we would be lacking a second air threshold.
And there's the first one.
Very aggressive placement. If we are playing it on 7, we really think we have the upper hand. If we're Wim here, and it could be that we do, right? Like the Morgana cards, the generally more aggressive cards in grapple shots and whirling blades, magic missile. Let's see how we use the 6 mana here. That could be a big turn.
I'm actually very happy that he has now a air threshold because it's already quite late in the game and it feels horrible to be behind in a semi-final just because you didn't draw your threshold. So I think it already handicaps him a little bit, because
And
otherwise that Mirror
we
Realm would have copied, I think, his second thresholds.
and we see a glimpse of his hand. I think it's a magic missile, a ring, and a chain lightning.
Ooh,
So Morgana taking a step up, I believe, is to cast the. Oh no, the magic missile has been cast. Has it been cast? Yeah, it has. It has been cast from the avatar. Actually, you know what? I think what we saw was a Morgana hand. So the Morgana hand is magic missile, chain lightning, and ring. So Morgana has to take a step up because she needs to be the one casting the magic missile.
yeah,
And that's going to go 1 on the Druid's face.
yeah.
So I believe now at 15, and then 2 on the kobolds. And then play the ring on the avatar. So we have now 1 card left in Morgana's hand. And playing a Koliki from the regular Druid hand.
And then still dealing 1 damage to the face.
Exactly.
Wout responding with his own line. It's actually a unique in his deck. He only plays the 1, but yeah, removing a Morgana always feels good. But is that then the 3 cards were all cast from Morgana's hands?
I think 2 of them were cast. The third one was a chain lightning that he
Okay.
doesn't have the threshold for.
Yeah.
So not bad. You got 2 cards of your 3 power, 3 mana minion. That's pretty good.
And Ring of Morgan is such a huge change. I mean, the game has changed, shifted completely due to this 1 card. One person can gain life, the other one cannot. If you're aggressive, that is really such a huge advantage towards Wim. And we see actually Wout deciding to flip for
Wow.
Bruin, just like, hey, I need minions, I need to move forward quickly to have a shot in this game.
That's very... Yeah. I mean, it could be right? Like, I think he's reading the situation saying, I don't have much time. I don't want this ring to get too much value. I need to go fast. Ring in this matchup is specifically important because it keeps Tony at bay very easily. Yeah.
And also there are so many 2-part minions as well, with the horses, the violins, the kobolds. So it just 2 spells, the damage that they did, you just gain back right away. So it creates such a huge space advantage as well, because all those minions, like if you want to go with all your violins, warhorse, you have to really go, and you want to then cast 2, 3 of them at the same time, because playing one each turn is just not cutting it.
Yeah. Flipping here, if you're Wout, also limits the options for Tawny, right? So Tawny unlocks a lot of really good lines because you now have a spellcaster that can be pretty much anywhere. And Druid flipping means Tawny really can't move anymore. I mean, you can suicide her and then redeploy her somewhere else, but she's always going to be very limited in what she can do now.
Is this like you could take a step back with the Dragonets, blow the Vesuvius, and kill Bruin?
Vesuvius is disabled by the smokestack on the right-hand side,
Correct.
so and not an option here. I think what I would like to see here is take a step up and like put that ring to work. It's annoying to sacrifice either your side drop or your side draw, but that ring needs to do something fast. And assuming you can cast a spell, you could kill Bruin, right? You send a Kodiki into Bruin, and then a ring ping would do it.
Yeah, as long as Bruin is on the board, it's an annoying minion to deal with. It just soaks up so much damage. So. And I mean, now when you take a step, you will get damage, but you still at a healthy, high life count. So that will just go back to 20, I would imagine.
So take a... Oh, that's a great line. Take a step, take 1 because of the flipped Druid.
Yeah.
Play a Great Famine. There will be a ring trigger that will bring Wim back to 18. Where did the trigger go? I assume it goes on Bruin. Or the Avatar. That's the same outcome.
I would guess he will trade with Bruin and then eat
I
the
would
lion.
do that. Yeah, I think that sounds great.
Yeah.
Because you have a ring, you haven't flipped yet, so you have like two dimensions where you're ahead of your opponent.
Yeah.
If you finish the game, finish the turn, sorry, with a clean board, and yeah, that's exactly the line. So
He agrees.
yeah, I think both players playing really well to their cards so far.
And now, if you're Wim, like with a flipped druid on the other side, your townie, he will never do anything anymore, right? So, is it now also time to just flip yours for Bruin and be a little bit more annoying for the movement of your opponent?
Yeah, could be. So Tawny could get the Great Famine going for a bit longer if you're willing to sacrifice her to it.
True.
And she can also be redeployed somewhere else, right? So I don't. It fully depends. I think in an air list, I like keeping the flip for a turn where I can immediately put Bruin to use through a grapple shot or a whirling blade. And as we go back into the game, one of the few ways you have to get rid of an artifact like Ring is Shadow Strike, and turns out Wout had it. So we've seen damage from the Druid, and the Ring is now gone, which means Tawny can get back into the action and attack for another one.
And that is a huge, huge change again in the game. When the ring enters, it's a huge difference in the game, and now it's gone. And as you say, there is only Shadow Strike, but there are also the two swaps, which even could be worse, right? If you swap your opponent's ring and gain it yourself.
Yep. And I think Wim would be on 16 because the Shadow Strike would have dealt one, and then Tawny another one.
Ah, yeah, that's true. Oh,
And now it's about even. Even in life, the board is pretty empty on both sides. So it really depends on like how much gas we have in hand either side of the table. And it looks like
did
not much.
Wim just draw a side and pass the turn?
Yeah, could be stuck on air threshold.
Okay.
It could be that we're sitting on things like Vilimp, etc., and we know we're not willing to sacrifice it or to use them on a Tawny.
Yeah, that's the beauty of Sorcery. Like the turn before, I was like, okay, this game is in the bag. Wim has it. So much aggression. Wout has to flip for Bruin to be able to do something. And suddenly the ring is gone. Wim has, as you say, perhaps some issues. And we see brothers, and the brothers going to work it out. Not one, but two of them. That's a good draw.
Yeah, two brother. You love to see it. It's a way to pressure the board with just one card. They're a bit weak. Like the problem with the brother is like they get blanked by just one Vilimp, right? Like on Genesis, you kill one of the brother, and then the Vilimp threatens to block the other one. But if there isn't a Violent or a Kobold, then it's a lot of power for just 4 mana.
Whatever happens, I just hope that Wim drew his second air threshold.
Yeah.
Because otherwise he would probably consider. I guess he needs to go to 6 mana. Is that true? Yeah, there's Sir
I would say
Pelennor
so.
and
Grandmaster.
Grandmaster Wizards. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. Again, I like flipping if you can use it immediately if you're Wim here. So that would be a grapple. Ideally, a Whirling Blade, but you need that second air threshold for that. So let's see if we can find it. We're going to see Koliki in the meantime.
That will deal with Tawny. That will be the last Tawny from Wout's side. But yeah, two brothers uncontested.
Yeah, that Vesuvius could do wonders, but unfortunately turned off right now.
And we just saw Wim drawing another side, so that means he didn't
Yeah.
find it and he's really fishing for it.
He is. So the plague went away. Interestingly, the tadpole pool did not produce frogs because we don't have the threshold. And then the Koliki kill the Tawny.
And I guess the Dragonets will sacrifice themselves for one brother.
Potentially, unless we have a different plan for that Dragonet. So a desert plus a Dragonet ping could kill a brother cleanly, so we might be willing to take the damage in order to enable a clean trade instead.
Ooh.
A Jihad. Okay, another unique. Interesting that we don't see it played in a way that would benefit the brothers.
Yeah,
We're gonna take
indeed.
the trade.
Okay.
Oh, there we go.
That was right on time because I was like, if he blocks, then information would have been gained. But because that is an extra 2 damage.
Yeah, now these brothers are gonna do some work. We're even gonna see a Druid attack. And then the brothers are gonna swing for a total of 8. That is painful.
Yeah, and that also means that while imps are not strong enough anymore to kill that brothers also.
Yeah.
Jihad, what a crazy card.
It's pretty good.
Because of
Oh, sorry. The Druid was not an attack. That was the Warhorse carrying the Druid, I believe. Because I just noticed that the side has been played as well.
yeah, okay. So that brings Wim back to 7.
I believe, yes, that's correct. And we see the frogs getting ready, so we assume a plague is nearby.
Wow, this game shifted so hard, and I don't know that the hands, but like that second threshold or the lack of that second threshold, I think it really hurts Wim a lot.
Yeah, you really need only one turn where you stumble, right? Like it was even, and then there was that one turn where Wim just passed doing nothing, and like immediately the bar goes in Wild's favor, right? And if we look at Wim's list, there's quite a few cards that are double air thresholds.
Yeah.
Highland Princess, Headless Haunt.
But on the other
Black
hand,
Plague.
he's also a bit unlucky, yeah, because I see like Escalon Phoenix, there is the 2 vampires, there is the Manticore, there is the Infernal Legion, Hellcat Basilisk even, like none of these cards have been cast at the last 3 turns, and if you say it was even, I think Wim was definitely ahead in game. Then he stumbled, and then it became even, and now he's really far on the back foot all of a sudden.
Yeah. I agree. Even a lava flow could bring him back into the game, right?
Yeah.
It just needs something, really.
Yeah, but I think now it's already the window is very close to be closed. So yeah, he needs an answer and he needs it now.
Yeah, Infernal Legion could be helpful. It'd be painful and helpful. We would need to take the damage.
Probably you need to cast a site on 15 or 19 to cast it, because I don't think you want to take 3 extra damage.
True.
I mean, he has to cast a site anyway. Or place his sites. He still also has Bruin, but that will not cut it, I think.
Yeah, Bruin and the Whirling Blade would help tremendously, but again, we're missing that second air.
Yeah, and I have the feeling like now, if that would be an amazing play, that would get him out of this. But with a Jihad there, it's like he is trying then just to get even, back to even, instead of before he was such an advantage. So okay, show the game. Wim shows that second air threshold, and I want to see some sparks flying around. That's a blink.
And we see it is blink. We see the shadow of his hand, and his hand looks quite full. Probably 5-6 spells in there. So really, we have the card advantage. We just need to stabilize the board.
And whichever TCG game you are playing, if you have 6 cards in your hand, but they don't enter the realm, whichever realm it is, you're probably not in a good shape.
Yeah. And I think the blink would have put Wim on 6, because that does count as entering a site for the flip druid ability. And let's see if we drew an answer of that blank.
Yeah, that's such an annoying feature of the Druid. Like if you're behind and you're struggling, that every movement you still have to take damage for it, even if you would blink around or grapple shots.
We found that second error, I believe. Is it
Hooray.
too late?
Well, it is.
We flip instead.
Ooh,
We flip instead.
no.
What does that Bruin do? Speed bump.
Yeah, but it also means a guaranteed death's door. The borders are
Yeah.
uncontested.
Maybe we're preparing for post-death door. Sometimes you just have to, and yeah, I think that's it. That's just a blink and a flip for turn. That's very weak. Not looking great here.
I feel for him. Like reaching a semifinal is not an easy thing to do. You have to battle it out all day and then struggle with thresholds. I mean, having 6 cards in hand. And as said, like even if we would have Sarkhan Raiders or Escalon Phoenix or any of these cards would also be really, really good. But yeah, that's part of the game, right?
It is. We're gonna see a first attack. That's gonna be for 4. But then very shortly,
Yeah, and
death door, I would assume.
yeah, I was thinking like, do you actually trade? Because potentially if you trade, you potentially still stall for another turn. On the other hand, he will probably have a way to kill and still put you to death's door. So then you just might accept that potentially Bruin saves you another full round.
I think if Wout is offering the trade. Oh, okay, they trade.
Yeah.
So we haven't lost a life. Now we have. Now we're down to 2. I think if Wout is
There we have it.
consciously offering the trade, I was gonna say that means he has it regardless, right?
Yeah.
Because otherwise you just double attack on Vesuvius. Like you don't offer the trade if you don't have a better
Indeed.
option to follow it up.
But yeah, even otherwise, the Rebex probably would just have killed Bruin as well.
Yeah, I think you were going to death door regardless, yeah.
So he was just upcycling his brother for Rebex.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think no way out, right? He cannot move anywhere else. He actually still needs to place that side. But there is an avatar that will try to attack him. And there finally we got it. And there we see the whirling blades. But
that's a whirling blade that we've been waiting for. We wanted to combine that with a Bruin. But we couldn't do both because if you flip, you can't play that second air, so you don't have access to the whirling blade. Very unfortunate.
Yeah, so if you would have accepted Death's Door already, then it would perhaps be a little bit better to actually play the sides first, then flip for Bruin and cast the whirling blades. But man, oh man, Geoffrey, what a semi-final. I feel for him. This was an amazing game. Like, as you called the bluff in the beginning with the mountain lion, putting on the pressure, it worked also. We saw Walt a little bit like turning that Bruin early just to have something on the board. Wim be able to get rid of it with the ring, and then everything flipped. Any final words before we go to our final match?
No, excited to see how the final match is going to go. That was a great semi-final, so we can only hope for a similar game.
And the finals is, as we just saw, Walt will be featured again, and he will playing ISO on his Archimago. So stay tuned for our final match and see who becomes the victor of the Utden Troll Cup 2025. See you.